Before we start today's episode of the F.I.N.E podcast, we want to make sure to thank our partners at Trio. Don't wait, be ready, and connect with Trio today. FAFSA applications are now open, and the sooner you apply, the higher chances you have of receiving the full grant. The Trio staff at Governors State University are the perfect people to help. Trio can help with the financial aid process and scholarship searches. Trio can also provide fee waivers for admission applications, assist with the admission application processes, online tutoring, help with the GED referrals, and provide payments for the GED test. Trio provides various avenues for career explorations, as well as resume and interview preparation. Trio can also help you understand and complete your FAFSA application. So if you're ready to take the next step on your educational journey, contact Trio at 708-235-3352 for more information, or visit their website at www.govst.edu/TRIOEOC. Welcome to another episode of the I'm Fine podcast, where a couple of knuckle-dragging veterans unpack the world of mental health as unprofessionally and informally as possible. I am Eric Peterson.
And I'm Brad Stosiek.
And today's episode is about sleep. We're going to talk about the stages of sleep, how beneficial sleep is to our mental health and physical well-being, the impact being in the military has on sleeping patterns, and some of the things you can do to tighten up your sleep routine. So turn off the lights, fluff the pillows, as we do our best to take you from being freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional to truly being fine about finally getting a good night's rest.
Welcome to the I'm Fine podcast with your freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional hosts, Eric Peterson and Brad Stosiek.
It's fitting that we're doing this episode late.
It is.
Like late.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. It's still hot. It's super hot.
It's so hot.
It's super hot.
That's why my hair's up, dude. My hair is just thick.
I think this is the first episode you haven't worn a hat.
It's been a while.
I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, it's just so thick and like
it's humid. Well,
sweaty.
The hair or the air?
All of it. The
when
hair,
walk
the
outside.
air, me. It's just all thick.
I hate humidity.
And the combination is just bad.
Well, speaking of today's episode, not a great segue.
No.
Last night.
Yeah.
So I didn't get any sleep last night because my 4-year-old Cecilia likes to play this fun new game, okay, where in the middle of the night, she sneaks out of her bed, sneaks into our bedroom, hides underneath our bed, makes enough noise to like bait me to get up, and then she pops out from underneath the bed. In the middle of the night, in the dark.
Dude. What?
Yep.
That's terrifying.
I would love to know if other parents out there deal with this, or if I really am just a shitty parent. Like those are the two. I don't.
Oh my God.
Or she's just. That's just CC.
Oh, dude, I think that's just CC.
And I've told you before, one of my fears is small Asian children, which is so ironic. I understand that. But when you look at like The Ring or like, or what was the other one? There was another one like The Ring. It was like The One or something like that. But like, there was like this little ghost Asian kid.
Yeah.
It's just like in the banister, in between the banisters, just like, that's terrifying to me. And I have two of them.
Oh, man.
And now one of them just pops from underneath my bed to grab your ankles and be like, bah.
Yeah, who wants to sleep, right?
Well,
not you.
She's having a hard time falling asleep right now or staying asleep because we just changed something for her in that she's in her bed and her door is unlocked. Like she can get up and go out and use the bathroom now.
Yeah.
She's reached that age.
Sure.
But in doing that, she's going to consistently test her boundaries. You know what I mean? So she'll because she can leave her room. Yeah. She's also going to, just check out the rest of the house. See what else is going on. Make myself a sandwich. You know what I mean? You should get like little cameras, not to be like creepy. You know what I mean? Just like a CC. I just feel like it'd be super funny.
Right?
Yeah. I would do that just for the laughs.
Oh, dude, that'd be hilarious.
So sleeping is obviously an incredibly important thing. I think that we talked about doing this episode a while ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody knows that like sleeping's fucking important.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But you have that small group of like the elite. What?
What do you mean the elite?
The people that are like Elon Musk or whoever else, and they're like, I sleep. I forget what they say.
In space.
No, I think Elon actually said 6 hours. He does. I think he gets 6 hours. But there's like a lot of those people that are like uber famous.
Yeah.
And they get like 4 hours of sleep a night. I'm like that's a hit. And I know guys that get less than that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at what cost? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't complain. Like mine, I'm better now than I was before. And I usually try to get about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. I'm usually around the same.
6?
6 to 8. No, 8. I lied. 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Dude, I don't know. I guess it depends.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a parent.
Yeah.
Like
usually it's like 10:30, and our average wake up time is anywhere. So like during school, 6:30.
Yeah.
The kids won't wake up. We have to wake them up.
Yeah.
Strangest thing. Summer, like 5:45, 6 o'clock. They're like yelling and already they don't know how to like whisper, right?
Yeah.
They have like the kid level. Good morning, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, one day we're gonna miss it.
That's true.
You know, I fucking think about that, but yeah, it's easy to get just so tired.
Yeah.
When your kids are waking you up early, but yeah. How would you rate your overall sleeping habits, and how would you rate your sleep quality?
What do you mean by habits? Just like how much I sleep at night, or
just like your whole routine, what you do before you go to bed. Like
I
being
think
asleep.
I think I need to work on not having so much screen time before bed.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with that. Yeah.
Well, so for a while, Amanda and I were doing really well. Like we would just like play games, like board games, like Scrabble and Scrabble.
Like Scrabble.
Yeah, it's not like it's hard to see, but whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would like play games, Scrabble and Uno.
Did you do it by candlelight?
Yep.
That's beautiful.
We did. Mm-hmm.
Sounds like something you do in the Old West, playing board games. But I fucking love board games.
Yeah,
and that
dude.
makes sense that'd be a really cool, that'd be a good, smart thing to do.
Yep.
Before going to bed.
Yep. And so we did that, and then we did like put our phones not in the room, and we bought an alarm clock, and we used an alarm clock to wake up.
That's super healthy. That's a really smart thing to do.
And then we just for some reason stopped.
Stop what?
Doing all that, and then we were on our phones again. And
yeah. Well, you got to make it a habit.
I know.
You have to, what is it, 3 weeks or whatever before something becomes a habit?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's hard because, just like working out or eating clean or anything.
Yep.
Like, I feel like having good sleep habits is something you need to be consistently working on.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for life to just derail your sleeping habits.
Yeah.
It's like one of the first things to go, right? Usually it's like your sleeping habits. You know what I mean? When things aren't going great. I think I've set a record for the most times anybody's dropped a phone on their face while they were laying down in bed.
Dude, I do that all the time.
I've dropped the phone on my face so many times. And every time I do it, I have this same conversation with myself. I'm like, all right, Eric, that was the last time. Like, you're not going to drop a phone on your face again.
Yeah.
And then I do it again.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Yes. Okay, so I do that all the time, but lately it's because I'm reading A Clash of Kings. It's not because I'm just like on Facebook or something.
Oh, cool.
So I'm reading. So that's I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's reading is all. Do you have the, what do you call it? Light thing? Does the, what do you call it? The light that the adjustment that you can make. I have it written down somewhere. It's like night mode.
Oh, yeah.
Like the blue ambient light, blue light, whatever. Does that make a difference for you?
So yeah, when that's on, it makes it look like the screen. Like if you turn the light all the way down, it's so weird. Because like I wear sunglasses all the time because the brightness of the sun and lights bothers my eyes are sensitive to it.
Right.
But I have to have my phone brightness all the way up. Otherwise, I can't see it.
Right.
And it's weird because like with technology, it's either has to be super bright or it looks like it's off. So for example, you know how Best Buy has like the TVs on displayed?
Yeah.
And so they had a couple of them up, and there were a few that were like really, really bright, and then there were a couple that were like, they looked turned off. And I was with my dad, and I said, hey, why are these turned off? And he goes, they're not. And I was like, okay, so I don't want those then.
Yeah.
So some stuff, it's like, it has to be super bright so I can see it. And other stuff, it's like, nah, it's way too bright.
I didn't know if it would affect your ability to fall asleep. Like the light color. Does that? It
does. I do turn sleep mode on.
Yeah.
And then I turn the brightness all the way down.
Yeah.
Because that way, if I like get a text or something, it's super bright. And then it bugs Amanda. And that's not.
Well, also my big problem is like switching the volume on my phone. I'm either off for like 6 months, like the volume is off, or it's on and annoying everybody for like 6 months. I can't just do it every day. Like I don't know why. I just can't change. Like I could just turn the alarm off at night and then turn it back on in the morning, or my volume.
Right.
I just don't. Just nice to not ring, but then I just miss like every fucking call that I'm on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my sleep habits are bad. I need to work on them. I really need to work on them.
Yeah.
My quality isn't bad because I'm exhausted most of the time. So usually when my head hits the pillow, within like less than 20 minutes, I think most of the time.
Dude, I'm the same exact way.
Yeah.
And that's why Amanda gets mad, because we're like, oh, we're going to stay up and do stuff together. And then we sit on the couch and that's it.
I don't know what happens. I think when you hit, maybe it's your early 30s, when you hit your early 30s and it's like 7 o'clock and you're sitting on the couch and you're like, man.
Yeah, dude.
I could fall asleep right now.
And then like after the kids go to bed, it's finally quiet.
Yeah.
And like, dude, our couches are comfortable.
Yeah.
They recline and like it's super comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's just laying there and all of a sudden you're like, wait, it's quiet. I don't have anything going on.
Do you have good, because I've fallen asleep on the couch a few times. Like usually my sleep quality is not nearly as good.
No, I don't think I've slept through the night on the couch when I do fall asleep on the couch in years. Yeah. I usually wake up at like 2, 3, and, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then next thing you know, next thing you know, Mom, Dad, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so I do think I can work on my overall habits, which would, I'm sure help my sleep quality too. But there's also, there's been a handful of times where I know I'm not going to fall asleep. Like I would say less than 10% of the time, 5% or less. It will take me like 2 hours or 3 hours to fall asleep. That does happen. There are times where I can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours, 3 hours. And those nights are the worst. It doesn't happen very often, but like I get trapped in those moments. And when you can't fall asleep, the worst thing about it is you start to guilt yourself, and then you start getting anxious because you can't fall asleep. And what does that do? It just keeps you up longer. Like it's hard to go to sleep in those moments. And honestly, those nights, if I'm up for more than an hour and I can't fall asleep, I'll go downstairs and smoke a bowl or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't like to smoke that late either.
Yeah.
Because it just, just
wait for more.
I'm going to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Well, but that does happen to me too.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I was happy to do an episode kind of diving into some of this stuff and learning more about it, because I really didn't know that much about sleep.
Yeah.
I realized that when I started looking all this stuff up, because it's like, if somebody asks you, what is sleep? What would you say?
What is sleep?
Yeah.
I would say you're basically your body's recharging time.
Yeah.
I mean, not your entire body, because your mind is constantly racing, you know what I mean?
Like, so it's weird. But it's a pretty weird thing.
It is, but it like rests your body.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
But scientists, like, at least from all the shit that I've read for this episode, which wasn't a lot, but like, they're like, we still aren't really sure what the fuck's going on. Like, they know they know some things that are going on. They know a lot of the things that are going on, but there's a lot of things that are like kind of just speculation that they're just not sure about.
Really?
I could be totally wrong, but from what I was reading, that's how I interpreted the opinions in these pieces.
About something that's been around for...
Dude, they really only started looking into that shit in like the 50s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, that's when they figured out, I think, what REM was. Rapid eye movement was like the 50s. That's when they actually started thinking about it.
Wow.
Speaking of that, before I get any farther, our sources for this episode, health.clevelandclinic.org, zzquill.com, sleep.hms.harvard.edu, glamour.com, and sleepfoundation.org.
Those sound like some serious hard-hitting sources if I've ever heard them.
Harvard was in one of them.
Harvard.
But then the next one was Glamour. And the one before it was Quill. You got to sandwich them in like that, you know?
Nice.
So the basics of sleep, as everybody knows, well, most people know, that there is the two main ones, rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement. But what I didn't know was that it's broken up into 4 stages. So the 4 stages of sleep. So stage 1 through 3 are non-rapid eye movement, NREM, where stage 4 is rapid eye movement. So stage 1 is the lightest stage of sleep and transitions us from wakefulness to sleep. It's essentially the falling asleep stage. Is very brief, lasting 5 to 10 minutes. Your eye movements, breathing, heart rate slow down, your brain waves begin to slow down. This is the phase, the stage where I drop the phone on my face. Stage 1.
Yes.
You're like sort of there.
Yes. Yep.
Sort of not.
Yep.
Stage 2. In stage 2 sleep, you're lightly but fully asleep. Your eye movements slow and stop as your heart rate continues to drop further. Your body temperature drops and your brainwave activity continues to slow with brief bursts of activity. Stage 2, which is again non-rapid eye movement, lasts about 25 minutes. And stage 3, so this is the deepest stage of sleep. In deep sleep, your heart rate and breathing have reached their lowest, slowest points, and at this stage, it's really hard to be woken up. Waking from this phase of sleep may leave you disoriented and confused, and there are no eye movements. During stage 3, your body regenerates cells and tissues and grows new cells. The immune system is also working very hard. It's this stage of sleep that allows you to feel physically well rested in the morning. So that's not even rapid eye movement.
Yeah.
I thought rapid eye movement
Was that. Yeah.
Stage 3 of non-rapid eye movement is that, according to this. Stage 4 is rapid eye movement. So rapid eye movement is the last sleep stage before the cycle repeats. In REM sleep, you dream more than in non-REM sleep and more vividly, and your brain activity increases dramatically. The parts of the brain that coordinate input from your senses, govern emotions, and create memories are active during REM sleep. Your breathing rate increases, as does your blood pressure and heart rate. Each of your later REM stages gets longer the more hours you sleep. That's why stage 3 of non-REM sleep is the deepest stage.
Yeah.
Because like everything in your body slows down.
Sure.
But then in REM sleep, when you're dreaming and shit, everything is like amping back up again because you're dreaming, like your body's doing shit right now.
Yeah.
You know, like your brain is firing again. It's not resting. So mentally in a dream, like you're doing stuff, but physically you're not doing anything, right? Like when you dream that you are running, you're not actually running in the real world. It's because rapid eye movement stage of sleep immobilizes your skeletal system. So you can't move really while you're dreaming. It's what like kind of sleep paralysis is.
Yeah.
So getting to the rapid eye movement phase of sleep requires passing through the non-rapid eye movement stages first, 1, 2, and 3. So it takes a full night's worth of sleep to get enough REM sleep. Adults need to spend about 20 to 25% of their sleep time in REM, broken up into 3 to 5 phases. Overall, adults need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and about 90 minutes of which need to be REM sleep. And because REM sleep comes in cycles, it's broken up over the span of a night's sleep. Typically, the final REM stage of the night ends not long before we wake up. And because of what happens during REM sleep, particularly in the brain, it's so important to get enough of it so you can wake up feeling refreshed and ready to go. So yeah, I thought that was, I didn't know about, I really didn't even know and understand what rapid eye movement sleep was. I mean, I get it a little bit more now. You know?
I knew that. I remember that was like 6th grade health, what you just we talked about. Yeah. So I kind of knew.
I don't know. Was that? Listen, I learned things when I studied this.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying like I remember learning. Maybe it was a little bit deeper.
I'm fine learning at a 6th grade level. There are some smart 6th graders.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
Especially some of my cousins.
Yeah.
The Asian ones.
But
I could be. You know, I got.
Yeah.
2 sides of my family.
Sure.
I just want to specify.
That's fair.
So there are also theories on why we sleep, and this is part of why I was saying earlier, a lot of the stuff that I read, like these are all just theories. Like they don't know for sure.
Yeah.
They're pretty sure, but they're not positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you think about why we sleep, I'm just going to read a few of them. There are a lot. I found more, but these were some of the most prominent ones. So there is inactivity theory. So being still during vulnerable times like at night meant you had an advantage over animals that remained active. It means that you knew that being still at night could possibly make it harder for you to get killed by predators or have accidents. And then through natural selection, this evolved into what we call sleep. What?
I don't know.
That's one of them.
I love that. Like I think the theory of evolution is so cool. But
Yeah.
I just like wonder how fast it happened. It's just like one night, like your buddy died because he didn't fall asleep, like you idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like for the longest time, just human beings were never sleeping.
No,
and they
they were
were
just, like,
just
dying.
miserable people.
Yeah.
And fucking Bob was just like, hey guys,
I'm
I
done.
fucking did this thing last night for like 8 hours. It was great. I just didn't move.
I feel awesome.
Just shut my eyes. So yeah, there's the inactivity theory. I don't know. Energy conservation theory. This is the one. This is like one that these next two were ones that I can see.
Yeah.
This energy conservation theory suggests that sleeping, the primary function of sleeping is to reduce your energy demand and expenditure during part of the day or night, especially at times when it is least efficient to search for food. Research has shown that the energy metabolism is significantly reduced during sleep by as much as 10% in humans and even more in other species. Many scientists consider this theory related to or a part of inactivity theory. It's like that one. I'm like, all right, you know, you could see, I feel like I could get that evolving over thousands or millions or whatever years.
Yeah.
You know? And then the next one, most common, probably the restorative theory, one of the more common ones. Sleep provides an opportunity for the body to repair and rejuvenate itself. In recent years, these ideas have gained support from empirical evidence collected in human and animal studies. The most striking of these is that animals deprived entirely of sleep lose all immune function and die in just a matter of weeks. It's a fucking terrible test.
Wouldn't that suck?
Yep. So, would not sign up for that one.
No.
Would not sign up for that one. Like, can I be the one where like you put lipstick on me or something?
Right.
And like see if it does anything? Like, I don't want to be the one where I just
No.
never sleep again.
Mm-mm.
This is further supported by findings that many of the major restorative functions in the body, like muscle growth, tissue repair, protein synthesis, and growth hormone release, occur mostly or in some cases only during sleep. I also want to talk about the impact that sleep has on our mental health. How do you feel like sleep affects your mental health the most?
I think like less sleep, worse mental health.
Do you
More
get-
sleep, better mental health.
Do you
I
have
feel like
many bad nights sleep, or for the most part, like we talked about habits earlier, but it seems like you have a pretty good habit for the most part.
Yeah.
The phone thing, but like other than that, you're getting a decent amount of sleep.
I get a decent amount of sleep. The only thing I get since after my surgeries, I have to get him to go to the bathroom quite a bit.
Yeah.
So like 3 or 4 times a night I'm up.
Yeah.
Other than that, I get some pretty solid sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't complain.
It was, I didn't put this article or this information in here, but I read on a couple of different, websites that like it used to be, and I don't know what time period, but safe to say probably hundreds of years ago, people just woke up like in the middle of the night and it was normal. Like you would wake up in the middle of the night, you'd be up for like 2 hours, you'd like do some low energy type shit or whatever, and then you would go back to bed. Like it was just understood. Like I used to put so much stress on myself if I would wake up in the middle of the night.
Really?
Yeah, because like you wake up, well, no, not all the time. Like if I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't fall back asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But there are plenty of times where I do just like wake up and I can't fall right back asleep, I guess. So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I think the military, though, I could fall asleep anywhere, dude. And
yes, I've said that so many times.
Yeah.
In the like, and it's weird because when you're back home, you're like, I want my fucking, 700 thread count Egyptian cotton sheets.
Yep.
I need the fans on. I need this, that, and the other. Like in the military, you're like, I'm wearing 80 pounds of gear. I have a rucksack. I'm squeezed in between two bigger dudes. And I'm wearing a fucking Kevlar.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tilt my head and I'm just going to knock the fuck. I feel like, I know the scientists will probably say I'm wrong.
Yep.
I feel like I shoot right into stage 3. Like that.
Oh, dude.
Fucking right
Easily.
in stage 3.
Have you ever fallen asleep standing up?
Yeah.
Dude.
I've caught myself. I didn't like, I felt myself losing my balance. And then I woke up.
Boot camp was a tough time for me, man.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get there, though, but it was.
Yeah. So in line with that, obviously sleep can affect your memory, concentration, and decision-making, to say the least. Sleep, learning, and memory are all complex phenomena, and they are not entirely understood. However, animal and human studies suggest that the quantity and quality of sleep have a profound impact on both learning and your memory. Research suggests that sleep helps learning and memory in two distinct ways. First, a sleep-deprived person can't focus attention very well and therefore cannot learn very well. Second, sleep itself has a role in the consolidation of memory, which is essential for learning new information. I didn't think about that. I mean, I know my sleep habits aren't the best. So when I learned that, I was like, maybe that's part of why my memory is horse shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the two were related. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's fair.
So although the exact mechanisms are not known, learning and memory are often described in terms of 3 functions. There's acquisition, which refers to the introduction of new information into the brain. Then there's consolidation, which represents the processes by which a memory becomes stable. And then there's recall, which refers to the ability to access the information, whether consciously or unconsciously, after it's been stored. Each of these steps is necessary for proper memory function. Acquisition and recall occur only when you're awake. But research suggests that memory consolidation takes place during sleep through the strengthening of the neural connections that form our memories. So that's pretty cool.
I
didn't know that.
fully convinced that life is just like Inside Out.
Yeah.
Did
you see the second one yet?
I did.
I don't want to hear. Was it good?
It was fantastic. Yeah. They did a fantastic job.
Great.
I think it was more towards a teenage audience.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, she was a teenager. Not like super heavy, but definitely relatable and realistic.
Good.
Like more for, again, a teenager, somebody in like maybe middle school.
Yeah.
More than like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So.
But still, I'm glad. I'm glad it's a good movie. It looked like it was going to be a good movie.
Yep.
That, from what I understand in my little brain, like that makes sense to me. I'm like, oh, that's why you have a hard time remembering things, because you're not getting enough sleep. And that's why, because of the neural connections that form our memories are weakening and not strengthening, because you're not allowing them to recharge. The reason why you feel rejuvenated after a good night's sleep is attributed to your body's interaction with the chemical adenosine. So while we're awake, neurons in the brain produce adenosine. Adenosine is a chemical byproduct of the cell's activities throughout the day and fuels your desire to sleep. The buildup of adenosine in the brain is thought to be one factor that leads to our perception of being tired. Adenosine gets recycled during sleep, and when all that is gone, it leaves us feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning. And interestingly enough, the way that caffeine keeps us awake is because it blocks the actions of adenosine in the brain And that's why it keeps you alert, because adenosine makes you want to go to bed. And so caffeine blocks those receptors or whatever. It blocks adenosine from entering.
Gotcha.
So you can stay awake. What happens when you don't get enough sleep? I feel like everybody knows this. I don't know many people that just have always slept great forever.
What's your worst?
Unless you're rich.
Yeah, right. What's your worst thing that you do when you don't get enough sleep?
I just turn into the fucking most sarcastic, I don't know what other way to put this, but smarmy. I just turn into a jerk. I feel like I'm just really grumpy.
Yeah, me too.
Other than that, for the first 10 minutes of when I'm awake, and if I didn't get any sleep, I'll feel like throwing the pity party, just like,
what was me?
Just stick that bottom lip out.
Thanks for the description.
I'll do that. You're welcome. And I told you, dude, I'll narrate life for you, bro.
Please.
But yeah, I don't remember. What was I just talking about? I'm not sleeping enough.
Yeah. Nope. Oh, man.
What other things have I done when I haven't gotten enough sleep?
like besides being cranky and stuff.
Yeah, super cranky and just, like I said, I'll throw that pity party for the first 10 minutes. But when you have kids, doesn't fucking matter if you didn't get any sleep.
No.
You know what I mean? You still got to get out there, So I think that's the worst, is I just become rude.
Yeah.
What about you?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I get real cranky.
Well, that's pretty common, I think, because when we're sleep deprived, our focus, attention, and vigilance all drift, making it more difficult to receive information. Without adequate sleep and rest, overworked neurons can no longer function to coordinate information properly. And when we lose our ability to access previously learned information, in addition, our interpretation of events may be affected. We lose our ability to make sound decisions because we can no longer accurately assess the situation, plan accordingly, and choose the correct behavior. Judgment becomes impaired. Being chronically tired to the point of fatigue or exhaustion means that we are less likely to perform well. Neurons do not fire optimally, muscles are not rested, and the body's organ systems are not synchronized. Lapses in focus from sleep deprivation can even result in accidents or injury. I mean, what are some times where a lack of sleep has really impacted your performance?
Are we talking my whole life? Or are we talking military too?
Because for me, it breaks up into two sections, really. But
what do you mean?
Well, three.
Go ahead. You can go first.
When I was a kid, because I was super creative and I used to have nightmares and I used to be afraid of shit all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had problems sleeping then. And then in the military.
Yeah.
Because the whole time in military for a billion different reasons.
Just military.
And then after, because of the shit from the military. So those are the three sections of time for me where, lack of sleep has impacted me. Well, not only that, but also, I guess, having kids.
Yeah.
That's
a big one.
Because it's I found some facts, some interesting facts about sleep that I'll get to later if we have time. But one of them was the longest somebody ever stayed up for that was recorded.
Yeah.
I think it was 11 days. I think. I'm not sure. I think it was 11 days straight. But here's the thing. When you're a parent, bro, I had 4 months, I feel like. What the fuck do you mean 11 days? Get out of here. Ask any parent. The first 6 to 9 months, if you're lucky, and then that's it.
Yeah.
If you're super lucky, you got your kid's just a phenomenal sleeper right out the gate.
Yeah.
But you don't get any sleep, man.
No.
I don't feel like neither Ashley or I got any sleep really.
No.
And I've told this story before. Well, with our first child, she wasn't as good at sleeping as our second born is. Our second, Cece, is very good usually at going to bed. But Lily, not so much, my oldest. And so there was one time where Ashley and I were so sleep deprived because we'd been up for I swear it'd been months of little to no sleep.
Yeah.
It was 2 or 3 in the morning. and we're sitting at our dining room table and we're just screaming at each other. We're just yelling, just having a fight, like arguing, like just verbally. And it's always just verbally. Just put that out there. It's always just verbal.
Nice.
But like we were just yelling at each other. And then we both went to bed and it was equal. It was 50%.
Yeah.
50%, like yelling at each other. And then we both went to bed. And then we woke up the next morning and I was just like, do you remember what we were fighting about? She's like, I have no idea. Like we were both just so tired and they're just exhausted and frustrated.
Yeah.
We were just yelling at each other. We didn't even remember it the next day. Dude, which goes in line with all this shit about not having good sleep and poor memory.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So sleep can obviously also affect your emotional well-being. There's a pretty big link between sleep and your mood regulation. Sleep can exacerbate your anxiety, depression, and facets of PTSD. It's like a perpetuating cycle. Like stress, again, keeps you from getting good sleep, and then you don't sleep well, which causes you to be more stressed. Like, it's hard, man. That's a really hard cycle. That's why it's like, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you don't make a consistent effort to have good sleep habits, you will fall down this hole of poor sleep habits. Yeah. Like it's so easy to do and to forget all this shit. It's not a lot of shit. It's not a lot that you got to do to have like good sleep habits. I feel like
no.
So yeah, it's pretty understandable how that can affect your emotions. And then your physical health. So one of the possible functions of sleep is to give the heart a chance to rest from the constant demands of waking life. One of the greatest changes induced by sleep is an increase in the release of growth hormone. So growth hormone is a hormone secreted by the pituitary gland that promotes the growth of the body and influences the metabolism of proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. Certain physiological activities associated with digestion, cell repair, and growth are often greatest during sleep, suggesting that cell repair and growth may be an important function of sleep, which leads to benefits with our immune system. So essentially, when you go to sleep, you turn into fucking Wolverine. Like your body starts just repairing itself. And you start remembering stuff. Like your brain's working. Like it's amazing how much stuff's going on when you're sleeping.
You're right.
Now you looked up some stuff about the effects.
I did.
Of alcohol and weed on sleep, right?
I did.
What did you find, Bradley?
Yeah, let's find what I found.
Let's find what you found.
Let's start with cannabis because it's shorter.
Yeah, buddy.
So basically what it says is, although you fall asleep much faster while using cannabis, obviously it makes you tired and stuff.
Yeah.
You never hit the REM cycle. You stay in the non.
Really?
Yep. So you never get like that full deep
It makes
sleep.
it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Probably.
So when you wake up, you just feel groggy, exhausted.
See,
like you didn't really get a good night's sleep.
I like smoking a little weed before bed because it helps me fall asleep, especially if I really can't sleep, like I said.
Yep.
But the thing of it is you can't smoke too much, just like anything else. The way I describe it is like if I smoke a little too much weed, just a little too much, I wake up in the next morning and I feel like I just had Dayquil or something and try to get like 5 hours of sleep on Dayquil.
Yep.
Like you wake up and you're just like, fuck, like I'm groggy right now.
Yes.
It just takes, I'm not irritable.
No,
I'm just I just got to shake this off. Like it, you know what I mean?
Go light another bowl.
Right.
Start your day off right.
It's under, it's like the movie Speed. I just can't get under 60 miles an hour. I just got to keep it right here and I'm going to be fine.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. You know? Yep. And then, so, I mean, the alcohol one is a little bit longer. So strap in. We got to.
Okay. Yeah.
A little
See,
bit
I like how weed is so simple.
That is it. Yeah. I mean, so again, same as weed. With alcohol, you don't really get to the REM cycle. It'll make you fall into a deep sleep faster, but you might miss it later in the night. Insomnia.
Yeah, because it like wears off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Sleep apnea. And alcohol. Yeah, and those are just some of the things alcohol can cause.
Oh, alcohol could cause sleep apnea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So alcohol can also disrupt your sleep cycle by depressing your central nervous system, and increasing feelings of relaxation and tiredness.
Yeah.
Even just a couple of drinks can have an effect.
Yeah, I could see. So I would see alcohol being pretty similar then, it sounds like, to weed in that it might make you fall asleep quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not going to be the greatest sleep because you're impaired.
Yeah.
Like that still affects you a little bit, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. And then, so not only do you have to worry about the neurological parts of sleeping, there's also the hazards of being drunk while sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Choking on your own vomit.
Oh my God, yes. How many
vomiting?
Famous people. Jimi Hendrix died that way. Yeah.
And then alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
not good stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Smoke weed.
Yeah.
It's like be groggy or die.
Yeah. Alcohol's not.
No. I mean,
greatest.
no.
I understand.
Right.
How do you think that the military affects your sleep patterns?
Oh man. Well, first of all,
fucking first night at boot camp.
Yep. First night. Yeah, dude. Yeah. First, how long
did we talk about this?
I think we did. I don't remember. How long did you have to stay up in the Army when you first get there?
I don't remember. I know that we were up late the first night. I know we went to bed. I know that they hit the fire alarms on us at like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning. And then we had to be up at like 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was, and then they would come in and hit the garbage cans, fuck with us just to wake us up.
Yep.
Somebody was fucked up on fire guard, and so everybody got the shit smoked out of them at like 2 in the morning. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, been there.
So I don't know why. What was it like in the Marines?
So it was the first. I want to say it was like the first 4 days. They just keep you awake, and you fill out all your like you do your uniform stuff. You fill out all your paperwork. You know those pictures that are hanging around town where it's like the Marines, like their adjustable uniforms, and everyone looks super tired. Yeah, because that's right at the beginning, like the day 4 of no sleep. They just like slap on this like Velcro dress blue uniform in the cover, and they're like, "All right, don't smile." So you're like. I know you can't see my eyes, but they're.
It's like, if we're gonna break these guys, let's do them right in the beginning.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And then they have you fill out like the most important paperwork, where it's like, here, like your
totally
bank, like your bank account and stuff, and like all the stuff that's like important that you need to fill out about like insurance and stuff. They're like, hurry up, fill it out, and you're just like,
yeah,
dude, it's.
Oh my God, yeah, that's good stuff.
It was not. So there's that, and then on top of that. When you're in the fleet, there's fire watch, or not fire watch. I'm sorry,
fire guard.
Yeah, like just like standing duty.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Yeah,
and that was a 24-hour post.
Yeah.
So if you were with somebody cool, they'd let you sleep for maybe 2-3 hours. But if you were with someone who's a dick, nope, you guys are staying up the whole night together.
Yeah, like we did that obviously in boot camp.
Yeah.
And then anytime we were in the field, like if we're sleeping out in the field, obviously you got a fire guard 24-hour shift.
Yeah,
but like. And then when we were overseas, we had towers. We had to man towers at night.
Sure.
We didn't have to man them during the day because we were running missions during the day. But then when we got back, then we had to there was 2 tower guard shifts at night. And that was always tough. I remember, like, I don't know, the shit that you see. Like, one of the times I was getting off of fire guard shift and the other guy was coming on, and it was probably like, I don't know, 2 in the morning or whatever time it was. And we went in 2-man teams. So my buddy and I, we were walking down, and the other 2 were coming to go in the tower. And one of them is just carrying a cot with him, not even trying to hide it. He's going to go pull security. Like, he's just going to go, he's just letting everybody know, like, I'm going to sleep in that fucking tower right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh.
Yeah.
And so you learn a lot how to try to keep yourself awake. Did you learn any tips to keep yourself up when you had to stay up in the military?
Dude, caffeine and tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Caffeine, tobacco.
Caffeine, tobacco.
Well, I mean, like in boot camp, I guess.
We made recruit tobacco.
What was it, the coffee packets?
No, it was toothpaste and the recruit tape.
And what was that?
So, you know, like the recruit tape, like the white tape. So you just do a couple strips, and then you put a little bit of toothpaste in the middle of it, and you just kind of fold it into like a little pouch.
Yeah.
And then you just and you can like dip.
That is fucking
And you thought Marines were dumb. Yup.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I would just take the fucking coffee packets that came in, like, I think they came in some of the MREs.
Yeah.
Whatever else, and just rip it open and just pour it in my bottom lip.
Oh, no.
And I would just stand there, like, on towers or wherever I was doing that.
No, recruit tape and toothpaste.
Well, that was boot camp. When we were overseas, fucking rippets, bro. Did you have rippets in Japan?
No, we had real gold.
Real gold?
Yeah, real gold. It was like an energy drink.
That for
Pop.
sure is going to give you something later in life.
Maybe.
They're all going to give us something. But
Probably.
rippets, rippets kept the war alive.
Yeah.
Rippets and No Explode.
Oh.
Because you could get No Explode pre-workout at every PX, and that was like the only pre-workout.
Yes.
And it's like the worst pre-workout.
Awful.
Because you take it and you're like seeing dead kings and shit. You're just like,
And your heart is like,
and your heart's beating out of your chest.
Yes.
That's why I'm like, God forbid you attack our base before everybody gets to go to the gym. Because if you hit them at that time when they've taken their No Explode and haven't gone to the gym yet, you better fucking run.
Oh, dude.
Get out of this country.
Yes.
Dude. You don't know what beast you are awaking. Just like, and you're red because all the blood's rushing to your fucking face. Ugh. It's weird because in the military you go through these periods, like on both ends of the spectrum, like trying to keep yourself awake,
Yeah.
and then falling asleep in the most fucking ridiculous places.
Dude, and you know what I thought of earlier when you were talking about like the habits of bad sleep?
Yeah.
I feel like the military takes you there and pushes you so far past it
Yeah.
that it's like it doesn't even, which ties back to falling asleep in the most random places.
Dude.
It's a blessing and a curse, dude.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays because that's one superpower that I carried over from the military. That's it. I can
like
fall asleep anywhere.
The worst superhero ever. It's like narcoleptic man. Like he's narcoleptic, but he can control it. So he just kind of shows up. He's like, "What's up, guys?" Well,
I'm here for comic relief.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also I slept on a spine board once. Like we had our Humvees at the top of a mountain, and we were like outer cordon security, but we had an MRAP with us, and so we were up there as like, I think as a team, and so we had to have two guys in the MRAP on the gun, like kind of like towers, providing security all overnight, and then everybody else could sleep in the Humvee, and then we had shifts.
Nice.
Well, yeah. But you got 5 guys on a team, so you got 2 guys in the MRAP, and you got 3 trying to sleep in a fucking Humvee.
Yeah.
Like, there is barely enough room for, 4 toddlers, I feel like, in a Humvee. When you're wearing your stuff, and you got everything in there, and you got a gunner in the middle. And so, there's 3 of us sleeping in the Humvee, and I tried to sleep in the because I was the driver. I was trying to sleep in the driver's seat. He's like one of my best friends. I was the godfather of his kids. He's the godfather of my kids. He's like a 10-foot tall black dude, gigantic guy. He's a Chicago cop now. He was sleeping in the chair in the seat behind me, and he's like 10 feet tall. So his entire body is like pushing up against the fucking chair. And I'm just like, I can't fucking do this, dude. So I get the spine board. I put the spine board on top of the engine, on top of the hood. Made sure it was tied down. I took one of my shirts, filled it with other shirts, and then I grabbed a whoopee and I just fucking knocked out on the spine board.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fall asleep, man.
And it was literally a spine board. It was the most rigid thing that there fucking is, and I slept like a baby, dude.
I've fallen asleep standing up. I've fallen asleep sitting down. Man, there was one time at boot camp, or it was after boot camp. It was like the combat training.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end.
Is that what's combat training?
So it's for the Marines who aren't infantry. You still have to do Marine combat training
along with your
MOS school. Yeah. So you go boot camp, combat training, MOS school.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing, it was like the last thing you have to do was like a 3-day stay awake, like kind of scenario, whatever. Well, I was manning the radio, and I think I dozed off because they were like calling in.
Yep.
And next thing I know, I open my eyes and do the stats, and I was like, "Wake up!"
Oh no!
Oh, darn it! It was so scary. I was like, "Man, I'm so sorry."
God, and like you have to. I
was
have buddies that are drill sergeants. You have to, as a drill sergeant, you have to be delighted to catch somebody fucking up because they're so happy when they fucking destroy your soul.
Yes.
They're so happy about it.
It's so scary.
If you fell asleep in like boot camp, ours had like Sharpies and they would go up behind you and fucking act like they slit your throat. So you would wake up to that like, if you fell asleep.
Jesus,
and
dude.
When we were out in the field, so we call it FTX, field training exercise. So it AIT, like a week, I think, where we just had to go sleep in the field for a fucking week because it's infantry.
Jesus,
and after like the first couple of days, because we had like hardly any sleep. It was like 100% fire guard the first night. And I'm like, I don't know. I think we all got an hour or two the next night. But like at that point, when you hit that place of like so little sleep, and you hit that perfect moment in time where just like everything's fucking hilarious.
Yes. I love that.
You're just it's almost like you're high.
Yes.
But you're not.
Yes.
Because you're just so sleep deprived. And we got to that, my buddy and I got to that point, and we're like, we're just going to start fucking with all the other platoons that are out here. Because all the platoons were out in the woods sleeping in their own spots. We found out where one of them was sleeping, and my buddy, his last name was Poplowski. I call him Pop. So Pop and I found that there was a 60 gunner at the corner of one of their little camps, and so we saw that he was sleeping. Like we crept up on him, and we got super close to him, and then we just said, "Wake up!" Like, and he immediately fucking started popping up rounds off on the 60. It ended up blank firing after blanks. It was a training exercise. Blank firing after on there, but it was so goddamn fun. And
Jesus,
Pop and I just popped up and took off running back to ours, because at that point we knew we weren't gonna get any sleep.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck it, man. Like, you're all gonna pay. If we gotta suffer, everybody's staying up, man. We didn't give a shit.
Jesus, dude.
It was so much fun. I've also been told, well, and then, I got out, and after getting out, the issues, I think, of sleep for veterans is really, there's such a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Like, you have guys that are struggling with the PTSD, they're struggling with the flashbacks, they're struggling with the memories. You have ones that can't sleep because of traumatic brain injuries and stuff. That was why I initially couldn't, I had a hard time sleeping after my TBIs for like a little bit when I was still in country. And I think a little bit after I got back too. I've had Vietnam veterans, OEF and OIF guys specifically, ones that dealt with like heavy combat. They would tell me that like they could sleep better when it was raining outside because when they were overseas, they wouldn't get attacked when it was raining.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck. I've been told by my wife that I've cried in my sleep. Like, she looked over and I was crying. And also, and it was only one occasion, but I hit myself in my sleep.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know what I was dreaming about. I don't remember my dreams. Every once in a while, like, I don't even think it happens once a year.
Yeah.
That I like wake up and remember my dreams.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what I was dreaming about at that point, but I haven't done anything any more than that. But yeah, I definitely think, all of those things that the military does to you can kind of fuck your sleep up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Who needs sleep? You can sleep when you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, they put you through that, again, in boot camp, because you're going to have to deal with that in war, or when you're overseas or whatever, just at your duty station, whatever you're doing. But it's really hard to transition that back into the civilian world.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that. Like, you have to train them like that because war is hell. But then what do they do after that? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have any other thoughts about what the military did to your sleep?
No, it just really messed it up. It messed it up, but it made it also really great.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard because I can fall asleep in weird spots.
Yes.
And like, I can totally compartmentalize things to like knock out sometimes.
Yeah.
But then it also fucked up my sleep because of the TBIs.
Yeah.
And like, I think I told you I had one flashback, but I was awake and I was like dozing off, but I was watching the news before I fell asleep, and it was the Ukraine thing, and it was like explosions. And then I genuinely thought that I smelled carbon, like what you would smell firing rounds, whatever, blowing shit up. And I couldn't stop smelling it. And all of a sudden, like, I popped up, like I was wide awake, just flying around my house trying to see what was on fucking fire. Yeah. And there was nothing. Yeah, so some common sleep problems. So we have insomnia. Insomnia is a very common sleep disorder where you may have problems falling asleep, staying asleep, or getting good quality sleep. You have night terrors, episodes of screaming, intense fear, and flailing while still asleep, often paired with sleepwalking. You have nightmares that are just bad dreams that may wake you up. You have sleep apnea, potentially serious sleep disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts. Symptoms of that can include snoring loudly and feeling tired after a full night's sleep. Like, sleep apnea is terrifying.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
scary.
Stop breathing in your sleep.
That's scary.
And I used to snore super loud.
Really?
And I got my tonsils taken out. Oh. And then that was it.
Oh, cool.
I did it as an adult. There's also night sweats. I was just interested. I looked this up because I was like, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, why am I sweaty? Like, it's like cold in my room. I always thought that was weird. So I found that night sweats can be signs of other medical issues, including infection, adrenal dysfunction, and cancer. It can also be because of your clothes and your bedding. So, could be those sheets. Could be fucking cancer.
Christ, dude.
Thanks, Google. Like, it's like, I gotta stop looking this shit up, man.
Wow.
So
okay.
I mean, so I'm gonna probably change my sheets. I'm thinking it's my sheets. And also it can also be a side effect from taking medications like antidepressants, aspirin, or acetaminophen. And stress and anxiety are also common causes of excessive sweating at night. Nightmares, night terrors, and sleep apnea can also activate the body's stress response that would cause you to sweat as well. You never sweat in your sleep?
Because it's hot.
Yeah.
That's it, man. We don't have, like, for some reason, the air doesn't reach the upstairs.
Really?
Dude.
It's super hot?
Oh, man.
Especially like recently, it's been hot as hail.
Yeah.
So practicing some tips for better sleeping habits. So the first one is establishing a sleep routine. This worked so well. Like, I know I made the joke about Cece, which really did happen, about her little fucking games that she's been playing now.
Yeah.
And she's 4. Other than this, she's been a pretty good sleeper. Lily had some issues earlier on, but she's become a pretty good sleeper.
Nice.
And as far as, like, they don't fight bedtime, like, they don't argue, really.
Yep.
When it comes to bath time, bedtime, you know what I mean? Staying in their rooms, they're getting better at it. And I fully credit my wife because she put them on a sleep routine from the very beginning.
Yep.
Like, having a sleep routine's always important. It's still important when you're an adult. But because of all the shit that you have to deal with as an adult and all the stresses and things that you can't control, and then having a super busy day and finally getting 5 minutes to yourself so you want to catch up on one of your shows or something like that.
Yep.
Like, all of that can ruin your sleep routine.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it's hard, but I mean, you gotta sacrifice something. You gotta try to get a good sleep routine. I gotta work a lot better on my sleep routine. What is, like, do you have a sleep routine? I don't really even have one. That's why.
No, I just kind of lay down and fall asleep.
That's my sleep routine is I just do life until I fall asleep.
Yeah, like until I lay down and get tired, and then that's it.
Like, I'm always amazed by, like, I feel like they're usually, I gotta be careful what I say. I feel like they're older folks. They got the matching pajamas, and I'm like, I'm always amazed by that. I'm like, this is a thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just fall asleep. I'll fall asleep in like what I was wearing or half of what I was wearing.
Right? You just take your shirt off or take your pants off, whatever.
Yep. And then you just go to sleep.
Yep.
Like they had a separate set of clothes
Yeah.
that they were going to put on to sleep and then wash.
My grandparents had
I respect
pajamas.
it.
And you know where they kept them? Underneath their pillows.
I want that.
Yep.
I want that life.
Yep.
Instead, I'm worried about these fucking cicadas and aliens and whatever else is happening right now. And two just old senile men running for president. And like, here we are.
Here we are. We made it.
I don't really have a sleep routine.
Nope,
That's why I'm like, I need
asleep.
to create a sleep routine.
I mean, but do you have problems falling asleep? If you don't have problems, if you can just go to bed.
I don't, but I think it affects my quality of sleep.
You think
because
so?
it can affect your quality of sleep and not your ability to fall asleep.
So
like alcohol and weed.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So what kind of routine do you think you would have if you could have a sleep routine? What would you
I need to get off
moisturize?
my phone. I need to start doing that for sure because my face was wind blasted by the Middle East for like 3.5-ish years.
That's fair.
So I definitely need to moisturize. My wife gives me shit about that because my wife looks like my wife, knock on wood, just does not age. So, and she moisturizes all the time. So I'm like, all right, I got to fucking start doing that.
Nice.
But I mean just like turning off my phone.
Oh, okay.
Getting off my phone.
Yep.
Not watching TV. Like I need to start making more of an effort to do that. I would love to be able to start reading before bed again.
I was just say reading is, and that's what sucks. I have to read on my phone, and it like sucks because like the blue light, like you said, it hurts, and I'm trying to go to bed. So I kind of miss reading books.
Yeah. But I liked reading books before bed, and I wouldn't read a lot. You know, I'd start to get tired, and then I'd be done. But
just a couple pages here and there.
I like doing those things, and I would also like to do some stretching and stuff before I go to bed too. It's like my wife has a sleep routine.
Really?
And it's like, she is meticulous about it. Like she'll do her face mask, moisturizing stuff. She'll come out, she'll like do just some stretches or yoga for like 10-15 minutes. She like will spray some stuff throughout the room. She'll like turn on certain lights and turn off other ones. And then if she is left, like if I'm not watching TV, she'll turn on this YouTube channel of like, it's just like a storm. Like she does all these super relaxing things. Jeez. Sometimes she'll meditate for like 10 minutes before, but she'll like do all this. And I'm just like, again, life, fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm falling asleep on the couch because I was just there and I fell asleep.
Yes. Dude, Amanda gets mad that I fall asleep so fast.
Yeah.
She'll be like in her routine. I was gonna say Amanda has a routine. And she'll be in the middle of her routine, and I need
to get better at that.
Dude, I am out.
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, dude. Like, I can't. But it's funny because if I'm on my feet, I don't feel tired. I can go, right? But once I sit down.
If it's not affecting your quality, then maybe it's probably not a problem. I wouldn't imagine.
I don't think so.
You know, if it hasn't affected your health and it's working, it's working.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm doing all right.
Some other things that you can do to create a sleep conducive environment, like Brad, like you talked about. So a dark, quiet, cool room, but like taking your phone and putting it in another room.
Yes.
And just buying an alarm clock. They're like, alarm clocks are still, like, you can get an alarm clock for like $5.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm a big fan of white noise too. You can add that to your space.
Yeah.
Or like a sound machine like Waves or Forest or whatever.
Yeah. I like all that stuff too.
Yeah.
Avoids anything that's any sort of stimulant and electronics like TV, video games, any of that stuff, your phone. You got to try to avoid it before bed. Like it's better for you to avoid it before bed. And there's also relaxation techniques. Like I mentioned with my wife, meditating, doing a deep breathing exercise before you go to bed. Stretching. One thing I also want to do as for a better sleep routine when I wake up is, so I listen and I've read some stuff by Ryan Holiday. So he has a YouTube channel, The Daily Stoic, and he's written some books. And like, he'll wake up, and the first thing I do when I wake up is I check my phone. And I'm like, why is this the first thing? I don't need to check my phone. Like, I don't need to know. I don't need the first thing when I wake up is what's happening on Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really need to do that. I need to get better at like looking at it less. And Holiday, like, he also has his phone in a separate room. And when he wakes up, he won't get on his phone for like the first hour, I think, according to what he said in this one interview, or where I can't remember where he said it. But he will like, won't use his phone for the first hour. He'll like go for a walk and he'll like do a little journaling. And I'm like, that sounds like a wonderful way to start your morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than you're looking at Facebook, it's just like death and explosions and COVID and blah. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. Like, I've been up for 30 seconds and already I'm getting hit with this shit. Like, no, that's a lot. So I think those are things that I could drastically improve on.
Yeah. Now that you mention them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you think that you are experiencing any of those issues that we talked about, maybe you need to see a sleep specialist. There's also treatments out there like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. There's VA sleep clinics, support groups. There's plenty of resources out there if you need help. I think my wife keyed me into my snoring, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, if you've slept around somebody and they're, they notice that you're snoring or you stop breathing in your sleep, maybe go get something checked out. If you're a veteran, you got VA healthcare, hey, go do it. Just go check it out. So other than that, did you have anything else that you wanted to say about sleep?
Nope.
Want to go get some?
It is about that time.
Before we get there, though, I wanted to read some of our listener stories and submissions.
Yes.
So we got some submissions. After our last episode, we said, our last episode was about honoring those we've lost. I talked about a friend of mine that I was in Afghanistan with that died recently, and so it was an episode to talk about how we honor those people in our lives. And we asked you out there, the listener, to tell us what you do and how you honor those that you lost. And so I'm going to read some of those. Got some great ones and got a lot of them in. I couldn't read all of them, but I wanted to put some of these in here. So this one is from Chris. So Chris says, I use my platform as the only military veteran in my school district. Every year on Veterans Day, I pause my usual history and psychology class lessons and tell stories of my two good buddies, Dave Dewey, in loving memory of David Scott Dewey, and Craig Walsh, and the impact they had on me and others we served with. I usually throw in the story of Roy Benavidez and other Medal of Honor recipients if I have the time. I put together a little slideshow. I use pictures and I share it as I talk. I've done this every year for the past 9 years, so I'd estimate about 900 kids or so who might not ever think about them again will at least be able to see the real faces of the military. That's cool. I love when teachers, I know a lot of teachers that do stuff like that, and that's beautiful, because it's coming from such a passionate place, and teachers that are passionate about what they're teaching are always the best teachers.
Oh, agreed.
So to have a teacher that's passionate to talk about something like that, that's something that I think those kids are getting a lot from.
Absolutely. Sounds like an awesome teacher.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Chris.
Yeah.
Next one's from Terry. So Terry said, when my dad passed away, I was a part of his honor walk at the VA hospital. After that, I became more involved with the veteran program at work. We have taught our facilities how to do a flag draping when a veteran patient passes and how to do an honor walk. We also implemented a Vietnam welcome home ceremony into our program. My dad's silk jacket from Korat, Thailand, along with his welcome home beads, are displayed at my desk at work. I think of them every time I encounter a vet. I also have extensive lily beds at home because those were his favorite. That's awesome.
That's super cool.
And the type of person you have to be like for her to dedicate parts of her life to honor her father says a lot about her father for being the type of guy that would cause somebody to do that with their life.
Right.
And then says a lot about her for doing that to honor her father. Like, it's just like, it's a very profoundly beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
To see stuff like that, you know. Next one's, so thank you for that, Terry. Next one is from Courtney. Courtney says, I love that you're doing this. Thank you for discussing this very difficult topic. It took me a minute to figure out I had to allow myself to feel the shitty feelings in order to process the death. 100%. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
You can't run from it.
No.
You just got to be in it. It's going to suck,
Yep.
but you just got to deal like it.
Feel all the feels.
You got to feel all the feels.
Feel all the feels.
She said, then I realized I was actually honoring them by allowing myself to feel those shitty feelings. They would not want me to hold all that in. Yeah, they don't want you to feel bad.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's a very good point. Personally, I've honored those that have passed away in many ways. 1 year after my dad passed away, I planted an entire flower garden. It was massive, but it reminded me of him, and it brought me joy. I've gotten a tattoo and written stories on other occasions. I light a candle on their birthday and the day of their death. I also still talk to them. Full-blown conversations, sometimes out loud and sometimes in my head. My dad has been gone more than 20 years, and I still ask him for advice, and somehow I still get it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like the way
that's
that
cool.
The way that they still like remember.
Yeah,
their past. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's beautiful. We talked about that in the episode. Like,
yes.
You keep them alive.
Yes.
You keep their spirit going by having conversations with them, by talking about them and thinking about what they would be doing and thinking and saying. Such a beautiful thing.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. I'll read a couple more. Adrian says that she listens to music that reminds me of them. She tells people stories about them, and also said that she talks to them. So yeah, also very great points. Thank you, Adrian. And last one I'll read is Claudia. So Claudia says, it depends who they were in my life. Overall, I have a memory altar in my home with pictures, candles, and small trinkets that remind me of the loved ones on it. When I miss one of them or need to talk to someone, I light the candles and sit with them, play some music they liked, and talk, or just sit in silence and remember. Carrying pictures, memorial walks, and just telling their stories helps me keep them alive in this world. Also being that also being there for others so that there are no more checkouts helps. Yeah, and that was, thank you for that, Claudia.
Yeah.
Like, I have, like, behind me is like a little memory altar for my mom. I have pictures of my mom, all this other stuff. Like, I have that. I have the cards from pretty much every funeral I've gone to.
Yeah.
Here. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole thing about talking to him, like, I talk to my mom for sure. When like super good things have happened in my life, I've been like, I know that was you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
for sure.
I know that. So I think that's very important. And last one I'll read is from Karen. Karen said that she eats homemade ice cream off the paddle in honor of her mother, and she helps veterans every day to honor her father. So many things to keep the memories alive. Like sitting out back and watching the corn grow, enjoying the sunsets after a hard day at work. Yeah, like being present and just appreciating the beauty of what's around you.
Yep.
Is a great way to honor anyone in your life. Just being thankful and being grateful. You know what I mean? So that was another very good thing. So thank you for that, Karen. So if you are listening to this episode, I would encourage you to reach out to us and share your sleep improvement tips, whether that be on our, why'd you laugh? We're going to get some fucked up responses.
I think so.
Sleep improvement tips.
Sleep improvement tips.
Yeah, that's true. Send it to us on our podcast Facebook page on the I'm Fine podcast, or reach out to us at projectheadspaceandtiming.org. Other than that, you got anything else? Did I leave anything out?
I think that was a great episode, man.
Hey, we talked about the stages of sleep, why sleep's important, how being in the military can affect it, and what you can do about it if you have issues with it. So I think we did pretty good, my friend.
As did I.
So thank you again for listening to the 172nd Best Mental Health Podcast in Cambodia. Bah! I reached out to them again.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, hey, like where where are we at now? Like, you know,
Did they get back to you?
gotta be like one in the 60s,
Yeah.
160s, you know? They didn't get back to me.
Oh,
No.
I got really
Said
excited.
it weeks ago.
Oh,
It was
boy.
probably a spam email. I'm going to run with it, though. 172nd
We'll take
best
it.
mental health podcast in Cambodia. Please keep listening. Thank you so much. Until next time, I hope we helped you go from being freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional to being fine about getting a good night's rest. Thanks again.